What's up, guys? Happy New Year. What you're about to watch is a pre-recorded live stream that I did on my Patreon, but I have edited it down into like a more concise, like best of 2023 video for you. I was joined by two guests. First is Dan Shine from Flesh Wound Features, who you probably know, and the other is Matt, aka Dream Emulator. If you're not subscribed to either of them, I highly suggest doing so. They're both great guys with great channels. Also, I am very sick during this recording, so I apologize if I am like mouth breathing a lot and if I sound a little weird or seem a little under the weather. I am sick during this stream, but I think I did okay. It was fun, and yeah, I hope you enjoy it. What's up, everybody? Welcome. This is our best of 2023 show. But yeah, we're going to be talking about quite a few things. Horror, not just horror movies, though, that have come out this year. We're going to do it a few topics, but we're going to start with the best horror movies of 2023. In our opinion, I've chosen a very like specific direction this year. And like, I don't think a lot of people will get it, but it's just the mood I've been in for like a minute, but like pretty much all year, where I'm just kind of like over like mainstream big studio stuff. Like I watch it and I like it sometimes, but I get excited about like independent stuff and like low budget stupid shit basically. And like
same.
this year, the last couple years, but this year especially, I've really been like seeing a lot of movies that I'm just like they make me feel shit that I haven't felt in a while. And that's kind of where my top 5 is going to be.
Yeah, me too, for sure. Like I'm all over the place. I got some stuff in here that's not even horror. It's borderline horror. So I've just been digging into the depths a little bit.
I bet I know what one is going to be on both your lists. That's horror adjacent, I guess.
Maybe.
Curious.
I don't know, man. Mine is like, it's probably not going to be that surprising to you, but I've talked to you about a lot of this stuff. They're just movies that I don't see on a lot of other people's top 5 lists, just because they're probably going to be going for the like, what's that? Talk to Me. And When Evil Lurks. Those are void from my list. I do have like I don't like those kinds of movies. I'll be honest with you. Like they're okay, but I consider them like, I call them like grief porn. They're like shadows of Hereditary. Ever since Hereditary came out.
Yeah, Babadook.
Which is one of my favorite movies of all time. Everything has been like trying to do the same thing, but they're not as smart and they're not as well made. And I can usually just kind of see like, oh, like when I was watching that Creature is Stirring, spoiler alert, when I found out that at the end it was a mental illness movie, I was just like, man, come on. I don't want it to be that. I wanted it to be a monster.
Yeah, as soon as you see the bottle of pills, you're like, fuck. I'm tired of that kind of stuff too. I mean, it has its place if it's done right, but when it's the crux of the movie, I usually have a problem with it. It's just overdone, and it's just it feels kind of like a cheap way sometimes to just be like, oh, he's crazy the whole time. And it's like, all right, man,
it's the new version of like exploitation, or like maybe not exploitation, not that far, but like Friday the 13th. It's not a great movie, but if you like slasher movies, you'll like it. It's no Halloween, you know? And that's kind of like with me, I see it the same way, where it's like Hereditary is a masterpiece. And if you like those kind of movies, you'll probably like all of these.
Yeah.
But I don't. Because Hereditary was on a whole different plane than a lot of
You wouldn't consider
movies.
When Evil Lurks a masterpiece? Because I would tag that as a masterpiece.
I didn't. I mean, it seemed like a little bit of a standard, like,
Oh,
demonic possession zombie movie. There was like cool, crazy gore, like that, where he's eating out of the kid's head like a popcorn bucket. That was crazy.
Well,
But
I
I
guess
don't
we
know.
could
It
talk
just,
about it a little because that's definitely on my list.
yeah. Well, we'll get back to it when it comes up on your list. Then
Okay.
I guess the first one, and this is kind of gonna tell you where my list is going. And I feel like a lot of people will roll their eyes when I say this, but my number 5 is Santa Stein.
Okay.
And like, I don't even like usually with a movie like Santa Stein nowadays, I wouldn't even watch it because, like,
meme
Shark
movies.
Exorcist, like
Yeah,
those
meme
kinds of
movies.
movies.
They have a bad rap sometimes.
Well,
When you hear,
they're giving themselves a bad rep. That's a
Yeah.
whole thing I could talk about for days, but
uh
I'm very mad at that whole thing. So a lot of times I will kind of like blow over a movie like Santa Stein. But Dan was talking about it and I watched it, and it's like it's an actual movie.
That
It's
felt
not-
like it was made in 1997.
Yeah.
huh.
Yeah.
It like, you can tell it's modern. You can tell it's like shot on digital,
Sure.
but like they actually like cared. You could tell they were trying to make a movie. They weren't trying to cash in on like a name like a lot of them do now.
Mm.
They had like details. Like, there was one point where somebody was reading like a nudie magazine, and it was like a custom nudie magazine with like a joke name. I don't remember what the name was, but it was like Slayboy or something like that. It's just like they had all those little details. Like, I kept getting Uncle Sam vibes from it, like the whole movie.
Yeah. I figured you'd like it because the first thing that came to mind for me was Bolt Neck, kind of sort of in that vein, that specifically mid to late 90s direct to video vein.
And that's
Yeah.
my shit. Like, that's my love, is like 90s
Yeah.
direct to video. And it felt like that. And there's been a couple things like Christmas Bloody Christmas did that for me. Malignant even kinda. When you get to the
higher
end there.
budget, but yeah.
And like this one did it, and it's just like a feeling I haven't felt in like decades at this point, where I'm watching all these movies and it's like, I'm not saying it never happens, but it rarely happens where I get a movie like that actually makes me like feel like I might have found it at Blockbuster when I was a teenager.
Hmm.
And so yeah, it's going on my list.
I figured that. I thought of you right when I watched it. I was like, I think he's gonna like this one a lot.
Yeah, it had cool kills in it too, funny kills, characters like, and they're actually funny. It's a great movie. They were setting up this whole like he's got a Tesla lab in his garage, like Frankenhooker or some shit. Like, it was just fun, and like, yeah, you could tell when they made it that they actually cared about it and wanted to make it fun.
That's
And I think
cool.
that's what's missing from a lot of these modern like B movies.
Mhm.
But yeah, that's it. That's enough about
That's cool.
that.
That sounds interesting. I never heard of that.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly think if you like stuff like Jack Frost and Ice
Yeah.
Cream Man,
Mhm.
if you watch that movie with that frame of mind going in, you'll enjoy it. It's not like a masterpiece naturally. It's called Santa Stein. You kind of know what you're getting, but it's fun. And it's like, it seems like a sincere movie to me, which is
Clever story though too. I have to give it that. It does have a story. It's
yeah.
not just, again, like you said, it's not like Quacktopus and it's the funniest thing.
Yeah.
The funniest thing is the cover in the movie.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, here's my sock puppet.
It sounds like an interesting premise. I just read the plot summary.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
cool idea for a movie.
And I mean, it's like
you
they did world building too. It's like in its own universe where, like, if you want to watch it, I won't spoil it, but I mean, like, yeah, they live in like a very specific universe, and they set it up and keep that, like, and it ties into the story. It's cool. The Christmas watch for sure that I would recommend for anybody who just wants like fun, cheesy, like Christmas horror, like comedy kind of stuff. It's real good. What do you got, Dream?
See, so It was a toss up for me for my bottom place between. I don't know if I should say what. I guess it was a toss up between, but I'll say it anyway. It was a toss up between Huesera the Bone Woman and Hell House Origins, which sounds weird because they're not quite the same movie. One's has a lot more. Well, one's obviously a found footage movie, so they're not quite in the same tier. But I think I'm gonna go with Origins. I don't. I think the reason is because with Hell House, I'm not really a found footage guy, but I just found something about that movie that really worked for me. There was some moments where I was kind of taken out of it, like they do some of that 16 millimeter footage and some of the VHS stuff, which is like obviously just a filter slapped on.
Yeah.
It takes me out a little bit, but I think the ending of it worked for me as far as it was a pretty creepy, 20 so minutes of where it was going. I didn't expect it to be as good as it was. Not that it was a masterpiece by any means. And I have only seen the first Hell House. I haven't seen 2 or 3. I've heard they're okay, but I thought
I don't like them.
The 2 or 3 or any
2
of them.
or 3. I love the first one. The first one's great.
Yeah.
2 or 3.
I like
missed with me.
Yeah, and that's what it seemed like. So I just skipped them. But yeah, I don't know. I thought it was a really well done movie. It as far as that premise goes, that kind of shtick goes, and I don't know, man. I'm a sucker for creepy clown costumes, I guess, and it's done well. I mean, that kind of isolation you get from in that movie kind of works. Being in that house and everything, the kind of the creeping shadows, not knowing what's around the corner. I don't know. I thought it was well done, and Huesera I really liked, but it just kind of, like you were saying, it's almost like that grief porn. And I was just kind of like not feeling, I just wanted something new, and I liked Huesera a lot, but so it was up between those two, but yeah.
I actually didn't watch either of those. I need to, because I want to watch both of them.
They're both on Shudder, I think.
Yeah.
Huesera is cool.
Yeah, Huesera is. It's good. It's worth a watch for sure. But yeah, I was also it was like 2 a.m. when I watched Hell House, and I was all alone in my apartment. So that helps
That's
too.
the time to do it.
Yeah.
I think it would have helped me because I didn't get to rewatch the other movies. So there was a few things where I was like, I'm not sure what that's referring to.
Yeah.
I can't remember what happened, but it was a good found footage movie.
Yeah. Well, I also watched the original like the day before. So
Okay,
I was like fresh in my mind. Yeah. I don't think they really reference 2 or 3 at all. They might I'm sure they make a couple subtle references I didn't pick up on, but nothing that like was important.
All right, we'll move on to number 4 for me. I picked Bury the Bride just because I really like Spider-Man 5000, and I never thought I would say that until Allegoria. Like, I loved Allegoria, and I really enjoyed Bury the Bride too. It was like a cool take on vampires. He has this feel where it's like it feels like a 90s independent movie, like that you would have saw on IFC, especially with Allegoria. Like Allegoria felt like one of those like Gen X film student, like first film kind of movies. You know what I'm saying?
Very different. Yeah, very different.
Oh yeah, Spider-1. My bad. He's from
Yeah. Really cool guy.
Spider-Man 5000. But see, I can edit around that. Let me retake that.
Okay.
I really liked Spider-1. There, I'm gonna edit that into the place so it'll look right in the video.
I didn't know he did Little Nicky and Glass House, or is that the soundtrack? I'm looking at IMDb.
I can see him being on the soundtrack for sure.
Power Man 5000 was like on everything. I mean, he maybe not as much as his brother Rob Zombie, but like they were on a lot of soundtracks in the 2000s.
Oh yeah, them and Seven Dust and Slipknot.
Yeah.
I never listened to any of them. Power Man 5000 a little bit.
I don't think I ever got into him. I think I was a little past at that point, but he is a good filmmaker in my opinion.
That's cool. Yeah,
and that's a Tubi original, man. Made my top 5 this year. Yeah, good stuff. It's been a minute since I've seen it. I don't remember a lot of the details because that was like February or March.
It was an earlier one.
I just remember it making a big impression on me because I like the. I mean, I guess I shouldn't say the angle, but the angle they take. I think I already said it earlier, actually. But yeah, it's kind of a mystery what's going on for the first like half of the movie, and then there's a pretty cool twist that I didn't see coming. So yeah, I liked it a lot. Had a lot of good actors in it. Scott
Nice.
Taylor Compton and stuff.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
What you got, Matt?
So I actually have a physical copy here, and this is the one that's not technically horror, but it's The Civil Dead.
Oh, no, okay.
This is, I think it was put up by Factory 25. Got on Vinegar Syndrome.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's actually it's more of a comedy horror. It's a comedy basically. It's just pretty much a straight up comedy. Kind of like it feels like a throwback to like those early 2010s kind of indie films. It's super low budget. It's basically just two guys and a couple other side characters that come in and out. Really well done. The basic premise is basically this guy, kind of a loser a little bit. He lives with his girlfriend. She goes out of town and he's walking around doing some photography stuff. And he runs into an old friend, and turns out that he's the only one that can see his friend. And so his friend just kind of latches onto him and kind of lives with him for a while, and he can't get rid of him. So he's basically being haunted by this guy because his friend doesn't want to be alone. And it kind of just goes off from there. And it's really funny. And it's kind of I don't want to say it's a feel good movie because it's not. But it has like some really like touching moments in it and stuff. So it's not, it's horror adjacent because there are some creepy moments in there, but they're all kind of played for laughs.
Good ending to that one.
Yeah, good ending to that. Exactly. So like, it's not like quite a feel good movie, but it ends really, really well. And yeah, I don't know if it's streaming anywhere, but I think they still have some copies on Vinegar Syndrome and one of their partner labels. And yeah, I highly recommend it. I mean, if you're looking for something, because it's also kind of just like a classic comedy. It's not like, which you don't really get many of those anymore. I feel like I haven't watched a good comedy in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Dude,
but
you got a ghost back there, man.
I'm talking about him. And yeah, I don't know. It's definitely worth a watch if you're looking for something a little lighter.
It's got a quirky kind of New York, indie comedy vibe. I would
exactly, yeah.
It's a partner label release on Vinegar Syndrome.
Yeah, I think it's Factory 25, which I think this is the only thing I have put out by them. It's been put out by them.
I haven't even heard of them.
They're cross genre. They're not. Yeah, they're not just horror.
Yeah. It's definitely worth checking out.
I'll look into it. It sounds good.
Yeah, I mean, by this point, it might be streaming somewhere, but you can find it for sure.
I mean, a lot of stuff like that ends up on Tubi, so it might be on there.
It might already be there. Yeah, I thought it was pretty solid. I mean, and it kind of flew by too.
Yeah,
it's not a long movie, but
they're kind of like low key, like you said, like old school comedy.
Yeah,
it's a quirky film. I've seen it pop up on some best of lists, and I've also seen it pop up on some worst of lists. So.
Yeah, it's one of those things you have to kind of just be in the mood for that kind of thing, or even appreciate that kind of thing to begin with, because it's not for everybody. I mean, that's a lot of comedies.
Yeah,
but it's a very specific vibe from like that time, that like IFC kind of comedy.
All right, so are we on number 3 now?
Yeah.
My number 3 is Murder Size.
Ah, okay.
That's another one that was just like, I mean, it just hit the right chords with me. It was actually a fun like B movie. It has a great cover art, which we'll get to later. Great name, great like classic, like Death Ball and Killer Workout, Murder Size. Like you think that name would have been taken, you know what I'm saying? In the 80s, yeah. Perfect name. And it had Jessa Flux in it, who, like, at this point is becoming a little bit of like a legit scream queen, in my opinion. Like, there's just something about her that's like infinitely watchable. She's really entertaining the whole time she's on camera. And yeah, I don't know. It was one of my favorites of the year because I just like, again, not as bad as my expectations were for like Santa Stein until I heard the hype, but I did see it and kind of go like, oh yeah, it's another like Tubi slasher that I might never watch. But then again, I heard people talk about it, so I gave it a chance, and like I enjoyed the hell out of that one.
The running gag of trying to get everybody to look at her tits was
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like a lot of fun. I like that kind of stuff.
I think I might have preferred another Jessa Flux movie though, Triple Xmas this year just a little bit for me.
Man, I tried to watch that and I bailed a little bit because I'm planning on going back to it, but like at this point, probably not until December. But yeah, it wasn't hitting with me the same.
I mean, it's a TNA slasher, a shameless TNA slasher. There's if you don't like that, but yeah, I liked it a little more.
Yeah, I heard Debbie Does Demons wasn't great.
I didn't care for that one.
Fan of her assets. She has great assets.
Yep.
But I mean, it's more than that. I'm not trying to like stand for her or anything, but like she does have like that thing that's just like she's entertaining. If you give her dialogue, she'll make it entertaining. Like what was that one movie where she was like a Satanist stripper and she was running around?
Satan Lives, Rise of the Illuminati Hotties. Was she in that one? Maybe she was.
Well, that movie wasn't great. You know, it was barely a movie, but every time it revolved around, like the scene revolved around her, it was entertaining. And that's like just something you can't like, it's not something everybody has, but she's got it, I think.
Yeah, she's got that right. She's gotten better too. And you know, people don't pay attention to Scream Queens like they used to, but she's kind of emerged as one that's starting to build a name, which is cool. We need our Brink Stevens and our Michelle Bowers to step up now.
Yeah. I mean, who else would it be? There's her.
There's a lot of women that do it. Like you probably wouldn't know the name, but like Danny Thompson, like she's been doing it forever in a lot of UK based B movies, but you know, just the name doesn't quite catch on for people like they used to. But Gator Blade's got a good thing going. Sushi Yvette Holder, I think is how you say her name. She's another girl that's doing it.
I think the last real one was Tiffany Sheffis, right? Like
she was the last one that kind of blew up, truly blew up.
And I mean, she was kind of alone in that in the 2000s. So maybe it's just the situation of we don't get multiple anymore. Like the 80s was that one period where we had 3. Now we get one at a time.
A lot of women just move on. Jim Wynorski talked about that once. You'd have all kinds of women that they'd stick around just long enough to kind of make a name, but then they'd go off, get married. You know, it wasn't paying the bills anymore, so they just left it all behind. Linnea, Brink, Michelle, you know, they all stayed in the business. They still make movies all the time.
And they seem like entrepreneurial. Like they've directed movies and produced movies too. They weren't just like acting in them. They kind of got into the business a little bit. So that's probably
Brink directed Sorority Babes and the Slimeball Bolorama too, actually. I think that was her directorial debut.
Didn't she do one where it was like no, that was David Dakota. Never mind. I was thinking of that Scream House or whatever it was called. Like where they all live together.
Oh, that's like all of his movies now. It's just like dudes in their underpants at his apartment. And it's the whole movie. That's David Dakota now. That's legit. There's no sex in the movies. It's just dudes in their underpants.
And it's not even like pointed out. It's just like the dudes never have shirts on and they're all ripped. Yeah, nobody's addressing that they're shirtless. They're just shirtless dudes. That's what I was saying about Twilight on that Horror Rumble.
Yeah, like expensive David Dakota movie.
Well, yeah, when you get with those werewolves, it feels like it because they're all in like jorts and no shirt and they're wrestling and shit. You're just like, dude, this feels weird.
Dakota made it during his emo phase.
All right, where are we at? I just did Murder Size, right?
Murder Size, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Number 3.
Number 3.
Yeah. So my number 3, I'm hoping Dan had seen this, I might be pronouncing this wrong. It's an Enisman.
Oh, yeah.
N-E-N
Ennis Main.
Ennis Main. Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, that's my number 3. Holy crap. It's put me in a mood. Like it is I don't even know where to start. So it's shot on film, on old Kodak stock in
Yes.
classic 3:2 aspect ratio, or 3:1, whichever it is. And it feels like it takes place in 1973 on this isolated island off somewhere up in like British Isles. And
Yeah.
I think that's where it was. And it's
Cornwall or
basically
something, yeah.
Cornwall, that's it. And it's kind of an experimental film. If you couldn't guess by the fact of what I just said, it was shot on film
Mhm.
and all this. But it's kind of like it has such a striking visual style to it, and it feels so much. It's a folk horror. It feels so much like those old like BBC Ghost Story for Christmas kind of films. Like it kind of has like an aesthetic of like Don't Look Now, like those old 70s kind of like the first scene. This woman, the main character, is on the rocky shores of the island, and she's wearing a red raincoat, and it just against the background just stands out so strongly. And there's a lot of good use of color, of contrast throughout it. The sound design's amazing, and it's a very slow burn, but it puts you in this mood of like this otherworldly, ethereal like place that's just, it almost like lulls you to I don't want to say this isn't a bad thing, but it almost lulls you to sleep in the way that it's just so ambient and drawn out. But then immediately something will happen and it'll snap you back into the movie, and it's a slow descent into just madness. It's basically about this woman who is stationed on this island as a nature conservationist, I think, or something like that.
Yeah,
And
she was
she's
a botanist or something
botanist
like
or
that.
something, yeah. And she's taking care of the island, doing like taking some measurements of the soil and this and that. And she has this daily routine she goes through. And as you know, as the days go on, her routine kind of slips out of sync, and things just start to spiral out of control to the point where you don't even know what's real anymore.
Mhm.
And it's just visual. It's the most visually striking movie I've probably seen this year. Because I'm also a sucker for that kind of stuff. And I'm a sucker for folk horror as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely worthwhile. It's not everybody's cup of tea, that's for sure. Like if you like that folk horror, slow burn kind of stuff, it definitely check it out. I would say even just for the visuals, at least watch the trailer and see if
Well,
that
yeah.
gets your attention.
I saw the trailer. I haven't watched it yet, but I saw the trailer when we went and saw Infinity Pool, and it looked really good. And I'm a big visual guy, and I do like I like that Hellbender movie a lot. Which
Yeah, Addams Family. Yeah.
And what was that one from last year? The Irish one, or was it Irish? Maybe not Irish.
But
I liked Ennis Main. It wasn't as embraced as I was hoping it would be.
Yeah.
But I mean, it felt like something that was made in 1971.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is hard to pull that off.
It really is. And I guess he like develops his film himself too to cut down on costs and all that. Like it's crazy the passion that went into it. Yeah, I mean it could have done a lot. I think they could have done something more with it, but it was also shot during COVID. And so I think they just did what they could. Moloch.
Oh,
okay,
sorry.
Yeah, that's a masterpiece, but that's not this year. That's
what threw me off. Great.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I was just relating it to like I like folk horror.
That was from the Netherlands, though. That's what you were throwing me. Yeah, that was a Dutch film.
I don't know why I thought it was Irish.
It's sad though. Ennis Main, as of now, only has a DVD. But
yeah,
I'm hoping somebody puts it on Blu-ray.
I hope so too. I think I think I watched it on Hulu.
That's weird. Usually, stuff like that gets a blue. It seems
a
like
toss
something
up with certain things like Shudder. It maybe it'll get it. Maybe it's
Yeah.
just going to be DVD only. Moloch was DVD only in the US, which sucks because that was one of the best movies. The 2000, I think it was 2022.
All right, we're getting down to the nitty gritty. These are the two big ones. The other three were just kind of like things that stuck out that I enjoyed, even though they're a little bit more like campy fun. But my number 2 is Suitable Flesh. Dan.
Ah, sorry. That won't, spoiler alert, that won't be in my top 10.
Suitable Flesh is one of the greatest movie watching experiences I've had in a while, and it's really simple why. And that's the thing, I didn't even know until after I watched it, but I felt it. This is a Brian Usna produced movie, and like you can just tell he's still got it, and he's like the producer who proves that a producer can make a difference. Oh, yeah. And it's like I mean, it feels like some shit that you would have seen Stuart Gordon make back in the 90s. It's not as like practical effects heavy, but just that kind of like they're tackling like a Lovecraft concept. They kind of made it like pseudo erotic thriller tone a little bit, and it's just campy. They don't hold back and try to like they don't make it campy, but they don't play it so serious. They go for it, you know. They give like ridiculous scenarios, ridiculous reactions, and they're playing it straight and like going for it. And it's just like I was so giddy watching that movie. I felt like I got to see like a fucking 90s weird erotic thriller, like Lovecraft concept, and I fucking loved it. It was amazing, and I can't wait till the Blu-ray comes out. It is coming out next week, I'm pretty sure.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah. Cheap Blu-ray too, which is nice.
Yeah, it's one of those RLJE joints.
Yeah, I still haven't seen that, and I'm kicking myself because I love like Brian Usna, Stuart Gordon. I think Dennis Paoli did the script. I don't know why I haven't seen it yet, but I'm really looking forward to watching it.
Oh man, it's such a blast
for me. Well, that's an awful movie. It's just I didn't think it was on par with. I mean, Stuart Gordon at the end of his career, Edmund, Stuck, like he was doing some next level work. Edmund's one nobody talks about. That movie's fantastic.
I think I have an opinion, Dan. I think you were in a bad mood when you saw it, and I really want you to rewatch it.
I'll rewatch it
because, and you'll get to see the full frontal that you missed because it's there. So
many arguments over it. Like it's there. You watch it, damn it. You slow-mo and you watch it.
But yeah, I think I heard that Stuart Gordon was going to direct. Like that was something they were talking about making back in the 90s, but it never happened. And then I guess Joe Lynch wanted to do it. So, I mean, I don't care why it happened. I'm just so glad it happened because, like, legit, that's like Brian Usna movies from the 90s is like one of those gold standards where it's like it's always going to be amazing. If he touches a movie, he puts his touch on it. He makes sure it seems like that it's like fun and crazy. I mean, like even stuff like Ticks. Like, I mean, the man's like never put his name on a bad movie, just for my taste anyway. I love it. And I was so stoked when I watched that movie. I was like over the moon because I was getting like the same vibes and shit. If you're a Lovecraft fan, I think it doesn't go into the like cosmic stuff so much, but it does really well with the like mind shit.
Yeah, well, I think the story it's based on too is less cosmic-y and more because I think it's based on the thing on the doorstep.
Yeah.
Lovecraft is tough. A lot of movie fans, they think of Lovecraft through the lens of Stuart Gordon and Brian Usna. That's sort of like the film vision that people have.
Lights.
Yeah. The literature is a little different. It's very hard to adapt it.
Playing off what Swaggy's saying, I didn't even mention that it's got like two of the most like these two women in this movie are aging beautifully.
So again,
Barbara Crampton,
yeah,
is
definitely, I agree.
phenomenal looking, and Heather Graham, not as old as Barbara Crampton, but man, she's still got it.
I think the lust for Barbara Crampton has carried this movie a little farther than it should, in my opinion. Well, and I get it.
She's not even like she's not even a central character.
Well, I mean, she's important to the plot. And get to the end.
Yeah, towards the end. But she comes off kind of like a side character. Most of it's Heather Graham and that dude. Heather Graham is so hot, and she's never lost a beat, in my opinion. She looks just as good as she did in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
She's had a hell of a run lately. She's in everything. Quantum Devil, I did enjoy, Ben. I like that one a lot more.
That one came out the same like week, didn't it? And I haven't watched Quantum Devil yet, but I think I have it.
Yeah. Mamet from Baskin is in that.
Carol Baskin?
No, well, little more funky looking actually than Carol Baskin, but
yeah, that's my number 2, Suitable Flesh. What you got, man?
So my number 2 was actually, I think it was a Hulu original. I could be wrong, but I think it was, and it was No One Will Save You.
Yeah. Okay.
It seemed like a lot of people either liked it or didn't like it, but I loved it. I thought it was really well done. I'm a sucker for an alien movie. I thought it was kind of a cool spin on that. I liked how there was barely any dialogue. And I don't know, it really played well to me. I like the turns that it took and everything. I didn't really know what to expect going into it. But I thought it was one of the better films I had seen this year. Yeah.
One of the best alien invasion movies in a while.
Yeah.
And they don't tease. I mean, the aliens are front and center through the whole thing too. It's not like, we see them at the end kind of deal.
Yeah, and that's what I thought was going to happen. I thought it was going to be like a Signs kind of thing, just walks by or whatever. But it's like right away, you're like, nope, it's aliens, and they're here, and they're going to mess you up, and they're already all over the place. So
everybody loves it. It's the ending. Yeah, there you go. The ending is where some people did it. I liked it. I thought it made total sense.
I thought so too.
I am noticing a pattern. I haven't seen any of Matt's movies. Yeah, and I don't think you've seen any of mine.
And I haven't seen any of yours.
That's weird. That's because that's another one that like when it came out, I was hearing a lot about it, and I just never got to it yet.
You'll enjoy it, I think. You may or may not. You may have some opinions on the ending, but you will love the movie. You'll love the ride for sure.
Yeah, and it's paced really well too. It's not like, oh, we're hanging out of the house and the aliens are around and we're gonna go back and forth. It's like it moves pretty well, I thought.
Yeah.
So
all right. Well, now we'll reveal the number ones. Mine is Dark Harvest.
Okay.
For real? Yeah. Man, that's legit. Like the other ones were like campy, fun kind of movies for the most part. Suitable Flesh was a little bit more than just campy fun, but Dark Harvest is a legit masterpiece in my opinion. And I don't think this isn't one of my like little like weird takes. I think that like a lot of people felt that way. I haven't seen a movie in a long time that like does that kind of like big, it's like a big allegory for humanity. Like we used to get stuff like that, like Lord of the Flies and stuff, where it's like a little isolated like example of how fucked up humanity is. And like it's set in this universe that is like so crazy. Like the town is a character and you don't even know like if there's anything beyond the town. You feel like they're on like some rock floating in a void, and even if they got out, they would just fall off a ledge or something. You feel so trapped in this town, and like, man, it was so good. And it's more like it's a Halloween movie technically. It's so much more than that though. Like this is probably one that's gonna like go in the books for me as like a masterpiece. It really, really hit with me like big time.
I do recommend the Norman Patridge novella. Little bit different. I mean, it's actually pretty close in a lot of ways, but yeah, that's what it was based on, and it is a cool story.
Yeah, I didn't even know until like I went into it thinking it was gonna be a dumb Scarecrow movie.
That's what I
Oh
thought.
no.
Yeah, and then I think it's an MGM movie, right? It's some big studio, and I was like, wait,
Yeah.
this is a studio movie? And I was like, well, I guess they just made like a weird direct-to-video Scarecrow movie, and then like it gets into it, and you're like, wait, this is like something else completely. And then after I watched it, I found out it was based on a book, and it's like, damn, why is nobody talking about this movie?
Took a while for it to come out too. Like that was something they were talking about before COVID even hit, and it was like,
Really?
what the hell is taking so long? Yeah, it's a really good novella, and I was just like, man, I hope they don't screw this up and just make something generic. But yeah, the ending it's worth reading the book because it is a little bit different. The ending's a little different.
I've seen it on a lot of top 10 lists, and I just haven't. I didn't even know much about it till recently because I thought it was just a Scarecrow movie.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, this actually might have something to it, but I just haven't got around to it.
If anybody out there hasn't seen it, I highly recommend it because it's like it's more than just like that was a good movie. This is one that I'll probably watch like not like once a year, but semi-regularly when I'm like a Hereditary or like The Shining or something like that. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
When you want to feel something.
Did either of you see this one? I can see a lot of people skipping over because you might expect something that it's not, but Unicorn Wars. Really good movie.
Like I mean, about that. Is that animated?
Yeah, it's animated. And you look at it and it's like, oh, okay, it's just teddy bears annihilating each other. But if you like really dark, psychedelic, fucked up, cerebral movies, it's really good. Another one that came out like at the beginning of the year, and again, I think people thought Happy Tree Friends, where it's just the bears murdering each other.
That's what I thought it was.
There's a lot more to that. As you watch it, it's a war movie.
Yeah,
it's pretty wild.
Yeah. I mean, speaking of that, there's a lot of movies I haven't seen this year, and one of them is I can't think of the name offhand. It's a weird name, but it is like puppets, like kind of similar to fuck. Why am I blanking on this dude's name? The dude from Genesis, Phil Collins. I don't know why I was blanking on Phil Collins' name, but the old Phil Collins video where it's like dudes in rubber masks and like with puppet hands, like the whole movie is that. And it's supposed to be crazy. It's supposed to be really good.
I know what that is.
It's got a weird name. It's like a.
You're not thinking Phil Tippett's Mad God, are you? The stop motion movie?
Yeah, because that's why I was like, oh, if it's Brothers Quay, it's probably that. But
no, I loved Mad God, but no, this isn't even claymation. This is like dudes in like puppet suits. I'm pretty sure, kind of like. Really weird.
Sure, this wasn't a fever dream.
Maybe, man, but I'm pretty sure it was real. Now, okay, I'm gonna derail this and find out what it was because I actually know where I heard about it.
Oh, did you figure it out?
Abruptio.
That's it.
Is it? That's it.
Okay.
I wasn't dreaming. It's supposed to be really good though. Really fucked up and weird. Which
probably a good double with the Unicorn Wars, I would imagine.
Oh, this looks awesome.
Yeah.
It kind of looks like there was a movie. Oh, now I'm going to do it. There was a movie that came out recently. It was about like this woman who was like an SS officer or something. Goodbye, Petrushka. No, that's not it. I don't know. Never mind. But it looks great. This looks like right up my alley.
It's a puppet movie.
I think it was stop motion, but they kind of look like the characters in this. The main woman. I might just be mistaken, because now that I'm looking at more of these puppets, it doesn't quite look like that. But this looks right up my alley.
Yeah, it's a very weird form of puppetry, because I'm pretty sure it's just dudes dressed like puppets.
Yeah, because this looks like some John Schmuckmeyer kind of stuff.
Well, the thing I always think of is that Phil Collins video.
Yeah,
where it's like Ronald Reagan and Superman and shit. I mean, maybe it'll hit Shudder or something, and we'll get to watch it for free. That'd be awesome.
It probably will, or Screambox. Yeah, so none of you picked Birth Rebirth is one I liked quite a bit.
I was gonna watch that, but I haven't yet.
Don't you have one more, Matt?
I do. And I spoiled it already, but it's When Evil Lurks. Was my number one for sure. Amazing. Just from top to bottom, it just moves like a fucking truck, and it just everything is just chaos, and the lore in it, and they clearly set the rules that make, for the most part, make perfect sense. It's just so good. It's just so good.
I
got to see it in a theater, and I'm so
that's
glad.
awesome.
I need to watch it again, I guess. I mean, it just didn't do anything for me.
Maybe just not your type of film, like you said.
Well, see, that's the thing. That's what I kept thinking is, like, I love Wreck, and I just kept thinking, like, this is kind of Wreck-y a little bit, but Wreck was a little better. That is what maybe I was in a bad headspace, and I'll watch it again and see, because everybody loves it and it's saying like it's a masterpiece. So I must have missed something. I don't know.
It's a hard movie to pitch to people, because people have asked me, it's like, well, what is it? And they kind of want that, matched down to a very basic thing. And I'm like, it's a possession film of sorts, I suppose, but don't, there's nothing basic or throwaway about it. It's really, really unique.
And I don't want to diss it. Like, I'm not trying to shit on it. Hopefully that comes across. I'm not saying I didn't like it. I'm saying that I didn't like, it's not anywhere near my top 5. And like, the shock moments were great. I'll give it that for sure. Like when that dude when that fucking dude touches the goat or whatever, and the wife immediately just like cuts into his head, like, that was fucking awesome. Like, there were a lot of great scenes like that were really brutal. I liked.
There were. And the mood throughout the whole thing, you just have this constant dread throughout the whole thing, and you're like, this is not going to end well. And they just keep barely avoiding it, eventually it just completely catches up.
Yeah.
And it just hits you.
Yeah, the body bouncing out of the truck.
Yeah. You're like, man.
Yeah, I'm like in the theater with 2 other people, and I'm thinking, like, why are there not more
people
seeing this?
Well, it even took me a while to watch it, because you try and get the elevator pitch from people, and you're like, wait, so it's like what? Like, because I'm not really a possession movie kind of person. I think I don't even know if there's really. I mean, really aren't that many great ones. I mean, there are great ones, and then there's a lot of trash. So I hear possession, and I'm like,
interchangeable.
Yeah, but then when you actually get, like, because it is hard to explain, and it is hard to pitch to people, because it's so unique. It's such a unique spin on it.
Yeah. Yeah, Demian Rugna also did one of the shorts on Satanic Hispanics this year, so he had a pretty good year. Dream Scenario was another one I thought somebody might pick.
I haven't seen that yet.
I've got it, man. I'm sitting on it. I need to watch it. There's probably a lot. There's that Onyx the Fortuitous movie. I wanted to get it in, and I haven't yet.
Yeah, that's coming to Blu-ray soon.
Heebie-jeebie TV. Like, there's a lot of stuff I haven't watched this year that could have breached this list that I just
Shaky Shivers is another one I think you might like. It's a funny kind of.
Is that one on Screambox too? It is, right?
It could be. Could be.
Is that like the one with the two girls are like in the woods or something?
Yeah. It was like a fandom event, so it had like a one night thing that I went to.
I'm gonna get Screenbox for a month, I guess. There's like 5 or 6 movies on there that I need to check out. So
yeah, there's a lot on there.
They
They're
got me
competitive
finally.
with Shudder now. Yeah, they're very competitive with Shudder now.
yeah, they have like Pussy Cake. I never got around to watching that. Candyland. That was really good.
Candyland is good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's getting a late. I'm glad that's getting a Blu-ray too. It took them a while to announce it though.
But yeah, the next topic we're going to do is physical media releases. And my first pick for physical media release is Christmas Bloody Christmas. Because there's no special features on this. That's not what it's about. The movie's so good. I'm glad it came out on Blu-ray.
Absolutely.
A sweet cover art there with the glowy Santa eyes.
That's cool.
Yeah, I couldn't think of anything else, so I just was like, because it is technically a 2023 release. I think it was January it came out. So
I want Shudder to put out more of their stuff. I hope they do that with a lot of the stuff that came out this year and last year. I would love to see them put out more Blu-rays.
They usually do, but like he was saying, they do have a very like shaky release schedule. Like I know Glorious was one that I was waiting on that kept getting delayed, and VHS 99, I think, or no, 94 or 99 kept getting delayed. Like I think it ended up coming out like 4 months after its initial release date.
Yeah.
But they do usually, especially the big ones, put out just like a cheap. This was like $15, I think, brand new. And that's right. I'm weird with physical media. I'm not the like most people focus on like the packaging and stuff. One of my big things is price. This is better than anything that like Severin put out this year, in my opinion, because it's affordable. You know,
a quarter of the cost.
Yeah,
literally.
I can afford to own the movie in high definition quality. Like that's my big thing. Because this doesn't. It has a behind the scenes, an interview with the cast. I think each one is like 2 or 5 minutes long. There's no special features. It's just that bare bones kind of disc everybody complains about a lot. But I usually like it because it means I can own the movie for $15. Did you have any physical media, Matt?
Oh yeah, I got a whole pile.
All right,
I got my 5. I actually picked some extras because I felt like a couple of them you might pick. Well, speaking of Vinegar Syndrome, A Blade in the Dark.
Yeah,
your deluxe box set. This was just really cool. Movie's great. It's not my favorite Giallo, but it's a good movie. Lamberto Bava. Speaking of, Mario Bava and Barbara Steele, Black Sunday, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. I think he finished. I think Lamberto finished this for Mario, if I'm not mistaken. Or am I thinking of something else?
I think you might be thinking of something else. Okay. But it may have started out as trying to remember. It's been a minute. It might have started out as something he was going to do, and then he passed. I
think it was something along those lines. But yeah, I mean, I love how this comes apart like that.
Yeah, those are cool. They did that with the Prophecy one too.
Yeah, the Prophecy as well. Yeah. You have to.
Nice.
Comes with a little booklet. So yeah, just a great release, of course, from Vinegar Syndrome. Everything they do is just perfection. So I highly recommend watching it if you're into Giallos. It's solid for sure. I mean, it's Lamberto Bava.
I'm looking forward. I heard a rumor House with Laughing Windows might be coming this year to Blu-ray.
I heard that too. Yeah, I forget where I heard it.
Might have been me on Pizza Stream.
It might have been, yeah. But yeah, that would be cool. So
the one I'm waiting for from them, and I'm kind of sad that it's in that set, but they're releasing Haunted Wayne, which was like shot around here. It's going to be in their homegrown horror set, I think.
Yeah, I'm a sucker for a box set. I
Mhm.
really am. And I know some, I mean, they're not cheap, but when you actually average it out, it's usually a pretty good deal.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times they are averaging out to like $10 or $15 a movie when they're coming in those sets.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially if you wait for a sale. Because I think yesterday, I think they had the Giallo box sets, the Forgotten Giallos 2 and 3, or 3 and 4 rather, on
Yeah.
sale for like $35.
Yeah. That
That's like,
was a really good
and
deal.
it's yeah.
One of my favorites was the Bollywood horror collection this year from Mondo.
Yeah.
That was cool. That one, uh, I mean, this year in general, the category 3 stuff that we've been getting is just been fantastic. They just put out Untold Story 2. Unearthed has been dropping stuff like that as well. Untold Story is absolutely amazing. Calamity of Snakes, which I think I did on Region Free. If you've never seen that, that is bonkers insane. I think you would like it, Chris, as long as you're okay seeing real snakes being annihilated, because a lot of them bite the dust.
Yeah, I've been meaning
Yeah.
to check it out.
I think that'd be right up my alley too. And there is a
Yeah.
cruelty-free cut, but it's probably like 20 minutes long.
Yeah,
So-
it's kind of one of those things where what's the point?
Yeah, exactly.
I think, and it was an expensive set, and we're still slowly releasing our reviews, but the Sensual World of Black Emmanuel, that one hell of a set if you like vintage sexploitation. And there's some horror on there too, for sure. That might be my favorite release. In fact, we're getting ready to record. Actually, that's actually the one thing I have within reaching distance. It's a beautiful set. Yeah. I mean, and it is stacked. I can't remember. What is it? Like 24 movies.
Wow.
And CD, 356-page book. Definitely one of my favorite releases of the year.
Absolutely.
All right. My number 4 is Dr. Giggles. This was a wish list. This was a wish list when, man, I wanted this forever. It's got to be on here. This movie, I mean, I know it had that like weird Otis double feature Blu-ray, and I think it had like a Spanish Blu-ray too. But this deserved to be like out in the world and get attention because it's such a like silly 90s like post Freddy Krueger slasher where they were trying to make like killers with one-liners, and it's got good special features. I'm not a fan of Scream Factory. I didn't like the price.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's Dr. Giggles. I had to just like ignore
that. It's been
that.
cheap lately. It's been at like $20 for the most part.
Lately. Really? I haven't picked up much from them lately.
That's good. I think I like worked up discount in there. I had some kind of thing where I got it for I think $20 through some way. I remember I was happy, like hell yeah, I'm paying what I feel like I should for it. But it has cool special features on it. I watched quite a few of them. They go into like Larry Drake and stuff. They talk about like Matt Frewer almost played Dr. Giggles.
Oh, I can see that. I love Matt Frewer.
That would have been almost just as good as a movie, probably, maybe better. Who knows? I mean, like it's hard to tell, but he would have done a great job.
It's pretty fresh off Max Headroom at that point, so I mean,
yeah, that was like before. That was before like Lawnmower Man 2 was like 90. Yeah.
5. Yeah. At that point, yeah, you might have said yes.
Yeah, that would have been a crazy like alternate timeline to see though.
Yeah. Yeah, that has to have the record for one-liners because he's dropping them every 2 seconds.
And Dr. Giggles, when I was a kid, it felt huge. Like it felt like a new big blockbuster event movie. I don't know if that was because like I remember seeing ads in the paper. They had the logo. You would see that logo in those like black and white newspaper ads all the time, and like there was cutouts and posters at the video store. I remember thinking when I was a kid that it was like a big deal.
Mm.
Yeah.
In hindsight, it's kind of funny to think that, but in the moment, just in my little bubble anyway, it felt like a big movie. But yeah, who's next, Matt?
Let's see what we got here. So I know I'm pulling out a lot of box sets, but I didn't pick up a whole lot of new releases this year, so I kind of splurged when I picked them up. But I got Existenz.
Oh, good. That's selling out, isn't it? It's selling
It
really well.
sold out. Yeah. The
Yeah.
limited set sold out like yesterday, I think.
Yeah, I got it too.
So,
I'm glad I did.
I need to. I want it.
The flesh textured.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a sick release.
It is. And I had wanted Arrow put this out overseas. I think it's just region B years ago, just a standard copy. And I was like, I'm technically region free because I have a Blu-ray drive on my computer that I can rip region B's to. So I was like, oh, maybe I'll pick it up. And then they've launched this, and they really did a great job with this. And this is one of my favorite Cronenberg films. And there's tons of special features, of course, in 4K. It looks gorgeous. And of course you get a little booklet with it.
He never made a bad movie. And how many people can say that? Never once made a bad movie.
Absolutely. Get the little pod on the back.
Nice. So I'm looking forward. I haven't watched the new disc yet. And
it looks great. It really does. I picked this up early too because they partner with these shops, their retail shops, the Archive. There's one like 2 hours from me, and so I saw that they had copies of this the day it was up for pre-order on their site. I drove to go get it.
Yeah, I've been there twice on road trips, and
yeah,
it's really cool if anybody's close enough to.
Oh, it's amazing. There. Yeah,
worth the road trip.
It's my number 4.
You got another one, Dan?
I'm just going generically off the top of my head, but I would also say it's a good year for Mexican horror. A lot of the boutique labels are grabbing stuff now from all of these different locations that in the past a lot of people haven't cared about, and I've been just loving it. I know that Villages of the Damned set, which is a bunch of Spanish films, a lot of folk horror on there. I was happy to see that come out. Yeah, I'm not sure if we're doing physical media on our show. I should have asked, so I'm going off the top of my head.
I mean, again, this is going to be edited down. If it is, let me know, and I'll just edit your parts out, because
not a big deal. I
don't want to step on y'all's thing.
I'm just talking generally, but also the Cushing Curiosities set, which I just got, that was really cool. I at this point, like, I just want to see that stuff that's out there that could effectively be lost to time if some of these companies don't, remaster it and just get it out there. That's a lot of the stuff that I care about. I like the weirdo art house Polish stuff that they're putting out on their labels. They announced, I think, Sex Mission today, and I love Dead Pit, but I'm sure they're like, who wants this shit? I can just see their show today, and I was like, well, I do. I'm that weirdo. Come on. Yes. So
my number 3, and I went without the slipcover as much as it pained me, but From Beyond.
Nice.
I don't know if y'all have watched this.
It's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Because I'm not like super into 4K. I don't buy 4Ks unless they come with a Blu-ray. I'm weird. But
I get that.
Yeah. This is the first time I watched a 4K and was like, damn. Like, this movie needed to be in 4K, and it looks so good. And I have like the bare minimum 4K TV. I can only imagine what it looks like on some TVs. It's beautiful, dude.
It is a beautiful release.
You can see every like slimy pore in the like makeup and stuff. It's awesome. It's almost 3 dimensions. Like, you know what I'm saying? When a 4K looks so good that it almost feels like it's three-dimensional.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
that's what this motherfucker is. And like
yeah.
the laundry list of features.
Oh yeah.
This whole section right here is features. Like, it's like that Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2
Mhm.
release they came out with. It's just like loaded down. Yeah, that's my number 3.
That's such a great transfer and such a great movie. That's like one of my top 10 movies probably. Like,
Yeah.
Love from Beyond.
Yeah.
That's a good
I'm a huge Empire mark, a huge John Carl Buechler mark. Like that, it's a perfect movie. It really is.
Mhm.
Perfect cast. Like, man, so good.
You know, one I'm happy you didn't pick is Terror at 10 Killer on 4K. That
Oh,
one
no.
that was the head scratcher of 2023 for me.
Where
But
we
who
at
knows?
now?
Uh,
We
You
we're
did
on
at
me?
least 2 or 3, I think.
I just
did-
did From Beyond, right? So
Yeah.
that's you, Matt. What you got?
So I got whoa. We were talking Dan mentioned this earlier. Untold Story 2.
Ah, awesome.
Somebody was
Awesome.
talking about that
Man.
the other day.
Yeah. This is one I picked up at the archive too. When I didn't even realize they had put it out, and then I saw it. A bunch of special features on here.
It's on the way to
Um,
me.
It's the back of it. Beautiful. And I think it's hand numbered too, which is kind of cool.
Yeah. Anybody that's watching this that hasn't experienced the Category 3 films, and not that they're all gems, but there's some wild shit. Ebola
Oh, yeah.
Syndrome, I mean, my God.
Ebola Syndrome by the same director as the original Untold Story,
Yeah.
I believe, and it has the lead character of Untold Story is also the lead actor is also in Ebola Syndrome. Comes with a poster too.
Oh,
Ooh,
nice.
nice.
I didn't realize that's cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, great. I mean, I've been really diving into Category 3s. I had seen like 1 or 2 before, but like this past year, I've just been like eating them up. Just crazy off the wall shit. Like, just, I mean, some of the best you can get. So that's mine.
Nice. What about you, Daniel?
What do we? Oh, I will actually throw one out, and this might be a little self-indulgent, but I think it was 2023. I'm pretty sure. Christmas Cruelty Blu-ray from Unearthed
There you
Films.
go. That's got
Which
a crazy special feature on it, doesn't it?
Does. It has a very in-depth making of where you can see us all over that release. So yeah,
It's pretty awesome. dude.
The backstory was that was that movie that I didn't give it a perfect review when we initially did it, and that's before we knew Pitt and Raymond. So they were just like, be honest, like on the special features, and we did some funny gimmick where I was like, okay, I think we settled on, I'll just say like a Norwegian gang sexually assaulted my grandpa or something, and that's why I didn't like it. And so there's some goofy shit on there, and the making of feature on that, Pitt and Raymond just coming from like pretty rural Norway, I believe, and going to Hollywood and their story. It's more to it. Even if you just don't like the movie, watch that making of. It's feature length, and there's a lot of indie weirdos like us on that making of documentary. I can say I'm on a documentary that Quentin Tarantino's on. How cool is
Hell
that?
yeah.
It's awesome,
Yeah.
dude.
Doesn't get
pretty
much
cool.
cooler.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
stuff like
check
that, man. Stuff like that is huge, dude. Like, that's really something to be proud of, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
no little
yeah.
thing. Imagine if you like. I was talking about this with somebody else recently that something like that kind of happened, and I was like, man, imagine going back in time and telling your like kid self, like,
Yeah, right.
this is
Yeah.
gonna happen. Like,
Yeah.
it's pretty crazy.
That is pretty good. There's a filmmaker who is homeless that is on that. I mean, we didn't have any interaction with him or anything, but Pitt and Raymond met him while they were in Hollywood, and he's homeless, but he makes movies. How wild is that? If you love filmmaking in general, watch that. The movie itself, it's going to have, it depends. It's going to have differing opinions, but if you can make it past the first 10 minutes, which are pretty brutal.
All right. And I realized I mixed one up. From Beyond was technically my number 2.
Okay.
But we'll go back. My number 3 is Night of the Demons 3.
Oh, nice.
And which we right also have history with.
That right there. We don't talk about that.
Drives you crazy, huh?
It came in the mail that way. I was heartbroken. But yeah, this is I love Night of the Demons. Night of the Demons is like, it's a classic. It's one of my favorites. But I'd never seen 2 or 3 forever. I finally got that Olive Films Part 2 like the year before last, I think, and watched it. And I couldn't find this motherfucker anywhere. And it got a release. And I'm super stoked about it. I watched it this year for Halloween.
Yes.
And it's not as good, but
it's worth watching. It has its moments.
As a fan of the original movie, I mean, it's just I still loved it.
It's funny that
all its flaws. It's got the kid from the kid who stole Zebo's nose in Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Yeah, he's in there. A lot of Canadian.
So it's just like that perfect time period movie for me to like I go back and watch something like that and it feels like a classic that I've seen all my life because it's so it's comfort food.
Yeah, we have a connection to that because Todd did a lot of the work on the extras, and Chris, friend of the show, also worked on the extras for all 3 of those. So I go back to that Night of the Demons documentary, which hopefully someday will come out. And I didn't really do anything on it or anything, but I was on set when Amelia Kincaid was back in the dress for the first time ever, in full. And so hopefully people will get to see that documentary someday. Yeah, it was pretty fucking cool.
Being said, the Barn 2 Blu-ray. I need to get that, man. I've been sleeping on Scream Team for a minute. There's quite a few things I need to grab from them. They're pretty consistent. I like the 1031 movies. They're pretty consistently not great, but there's always 1 or 2 shorts in those movies that make it all worth it. That last one, I would say The Mummy, the first segment, that Mummy segment is the best Mummy segment ever in an anthology film. Even above possibly Tales from the Dark Side, just because it was so it was so crazy, man.
It's hard to get mummy stuff right. It's not a lot of great mummy stuff.
They took a pretty unique. That's why, I'm joking. Tales from the Dark Side one is better. They took a cool take on the idea of a mummy and what it was and stuff. All right. That's you, Matt. What you got next?
So I got, this is put out by Error 4444. This is Fatal Termination.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Crazy Hong Kong action movie. One of the craziest action scenes I've ever seen with the little girl in the car.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
I don't have that release yet, but I have seen the film.
Yeah. These guys put out a lot of Cat 3 stuff and Asian cinema stuff. And they do an amazing job. They're a really small label. Bunch of special features on here. It's a 4K transfer.
Nice.
I think this is only their 6th release. So yeah, they're a small label, but they do some really cool stuff. And the bonus things that came with this was kind of nuts. Came with a poster, first of all, which has the original art and the new art. Cool. Yeah.
Nice.
And then it also comes with some stickers.
Oh, cool.
And then these stickers, a bunch of these ones too, which are more of the clear, I'm dropping stuff.
Very cool. Those stickers are nice just to put on the sides of your shelves.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm obsessive about I never feel like something is the right thing to put a sticker on.
I know.
You know what I'm
I
saying?
have
So
a bag full of stickers, and I'm like
I just
waiting
hold
for
them.
the right thing to put them on.
It's like I could put it on my PC, but then when I get a new PC, it'll be
very
gone.
They're all hanging out of the car.
Nice.
A little booklet essay, and it comes with, this is my favorite thing. It comes with a little car air freshener.
Oh,
Hell
that
yeah.
yeah.
So I thought that was awesome. And these guys do great stuff. I actually have a couple more here by them. I'm not going to pull the whole thing out, but they also put out this was last year, Centipede Horror
Oh yeah. Yeah.
and Red Spells Red.
Yeah.
So yeah, these guys are great. I highly recommend checking them out. They do some really cool stuff. And so
Do they have a separate website, or are they just still Diabolic?
no, they have their own website, error4444.com, I think.
Okay. Okay.
And they recently put out a couple more. I've never heard of them. The new films they put out, but I'm sure they're. Oh, one of them is Scissor Penis, which just sounds crazy. And I forget what the other one is, but it's just some off the wall shit. So
Scissor Penis is a sequel to Teeth. I think.
it must be.
All right.
So,
What about you, Dan? You got another one?
Oh, let's see. I think I was blowing through a lot of box sets. What else really caught me this year? The Empire set that went out of print, although they did put a budget version out there. Dungeon Master, Robot Jocks. I was really happy I got that. Stepping on it. There you go.
No, you're not stepping on it. We'll just break it out here because it better be on Matt's list too. I'm just saying.
I brought it out here just because to have it, but I was like, I'm gonna let Chris pick it.
This
I have another one.
This thing is one of the best box sets of the decade, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So many like fucking Robot Jocks and Arena.
Arena really made it because that wasn't out in the US on Blu-ray.
I understand that Dungeon Master and Cellar Dweller and stuff got releases earlier. I didn't have any of them. I'm kind of glad I didn't at this point. But Robot Jocks and Arena are worth this box set themselves. And Robot Jocks, I haven't watched Arena yet, but Robot Jocks looks fucking amazing.
I grew up on Empire and Full Moon, so that was like just a must for me.
Yeah, and like that Empire, they're almost like fantasy movies more than horror, like Dungeon Master and Dolls to a degree, like
Dr. Mordred. Yeah, I ate all that stuff up growing up.
Troll. I'm a huge fan of Troll. Like, I love old Empire shit, and this is almost like a John Carl Buechler set.
Now, did you get the original release or the second release?
This was a day one pre-order.
Okay,
as soon
so
as
you
I
got
heard it was happening.
the posters and everything.
Me too. I was wondering what the difference was because I got the original, but I didn't.
Just the posters, I think, is the only thing that's different. I don't know if the box is any different, but
you got this big book. You've got like the art's on it is pretty cool if you actually look at it. Hold on.
Yeah.
It's like the different like characters in the movie interacting.
Yeah.
Like, see, the dolls are attacking this guy, and you've got like the Dungeon Master dude is shooting Cellar Dweller guy. It's like they're all
surely we're gonna get a volume 2 for that, I would imagine.
I mean, what Empire stuff would they put out if we're talking Empire? Because I've wondered that. Like, what is there now? The Dr.
Mordred Empire stuff for sure that they could. It just depends what they might have rights to. A lot of it's out, so they have to have that sort of arena type thing to entice people. But I'm in. I mean, Arrow's pretty proven. In fact, that could be a segue because I just thought of this. The Shaw Brothers sets that Arrow put out, the first 2 volumes of they're huge and they're kind of problematic on my shelves, but they're really good sets. Boxer's Omen is on one of those, which I love the Shaw Brothers horror stuff.
Mhm.
It's just wild, all those black magic type flicks, and yeah, I was happy to see that on there.
Yeah, Robot Wars is technically Full Moon,
Full Moon, yeah.
but like, because I was thinking like Shadow Zone,
Oh yeah,
and
Shadow Zone.
Arcade. Like, if
Yeah,
they started getting into those, like where they are, like, yeah, I guess they are kind of technically Full Moon, but that was at a point where Full Moon was still capable of putting out movies that felt like Empire movies. It was a real short window of time, but they like a lot of those early Full Moon movies can feel very much like just an Empire movie.
they were pretty impressive with their last Subspecies movie. That didn't feel like a modern, in terms of budget. I mean, it felt bigger in scope than a modern Full Moon budget for sure.
I still need to watch that, man.
Yeah,
I'm sleeping on that one too.
if you like the others, you should definitely enjoy it. It's a lot better than 4 for sure.
I mean, Full Moon is they're still hit or miss, but they've come a long way in the last couple of years as far as I'm kind of worried about their future because they're getting into the meme movie game a little bit, and I hope they don't go too far into that.
Uh, they do it a little bit better. If you're talking about the Barbie and Kendra gimmick movies they do, I don't even really consider those movies. They're like riff tracks.
Well, no,
really.
they made Barbenheimer, and then they
Yeah.
made bad CG Shark,
Bad CGI
or
Gator.
bad CGI
Mhm.
Gator, and
Right.
it's like, you know,
There is
people
a
already do
difference,
that.
though.
Don't like.
Like, yeah, I mean, for me, meme movie, I'm talking specifically like the Mark Polonia stuff, where there's some of that where I'm like, you got to put a little bit more into it than just the goofy, gimmick.
Yeah.
Bad CGI Gator still felt like a movie, and it
I
had
mean,
some,
w- if they're gonna make them good, okay. I can't help but worry because they strayed so far in that like mid 2000s, late 2010s, like to where I just kind of gave up. And then the first thing I saw that gave me hope was Ouija's.
Oh yeah, Ouija's.
I was like, oh shit, this is a Full Moon movie. And
I
then it's like every other one or every 2 or 3 I watch, I'm like, okay, that feels like they're getting back to it. And I don't want them to like derail and start doing like CGI shark movies, like that would sting
Did you
a little
guys
bit.
see Baby Oopsie from 2021?
Yeah.
Yes,
I didn't see it, but it looks like that's at least something.
it
don't
hits
know.
that tone of the late '90s. A lot of people consider Castle Freak their last great movie.
I could see that.
Where the budgets definitely start shrinking, but
Yeah.
I love that late '90s, early 2000s era where they were putting out stuff like Hideous and
Yeah.
The Creeps.
Mhm.
During that Scream wave where it's like we weren't getting a lot, those always really stood out for me. Head of the Family,
Mhm.
Blood Dolls, which I think is going to be a Blu-ray coming here soon. All of that just was like a lifesaver at that time because I wasn't really into that Scream wave of films. So
Mhm.
yeah,
That's true.
yeah.
I haven't watched the Axis trilogy, but I watched Blade, man. Blade was a mess.
Yeah. Oh, Iron Cross. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of tough to do. That's why I like The Littlest Reich. I was like, they need to, let other people take a shot at some of their bigger properties because they just didn't have the money anymore. It's hard to do something World War II and period when you're shooting it like in a small little warehouse.
Yeah.
It's just hard to do that. And but there's been a lot of hope with Full Moon lately. I've been impressed. There's still kind of an acquired taste, I'm sure, for a lot of people, but they put out some fun stuff lately.
Yeah, and it is hit or miss. Like they still do a lot of questionable things, but just the fact that they have hits makes me happy.
Yeah.
Occasionally, because that's kind of, that's kind of the big thing for me is like, what's this gonna be? You kind of recapture that a little bit when you go into a new full moon movie, because there is that potential that it'll be good, at least.
It'll be heartbreaking. I mean, full moon and Troma, whatever you think of them, whenever they go away, that will be heartbreaking because Lloyd's almost 80.
Yeah.
And, Charles is in his 70s.
I don't want to think about it.
You don't know how longer they'll keep making stuff.
I mean, Lloyd's a legend. He is like a national treasure that I don't think people realize how like important he is.
The in-house Troma stuff is actually really clever, well written. Poultrygeist, I mean, maybe one of my favorites, if not my favorite in-house Troma movie. That movie's clever, and it has a message.
Mine is Nuke 'Em High.
Okay.
I'm not huge on musicals though. That hurts Poultrygeist for me.
I like the music though; it's actually pretty catchy. Fast Food Love.
I mean, it's
Terra Firma is hilarious.
Terra Firma is probably
your favorite.
Either Terra Firma or Toxic Avenger.
Yeah,
it's a toss-up.
Yeah.
See, for me, Citizen Toxie is my favorite Toxic Avenger. It ekes out because I love Toxic Avenger, the original.
It's the best sequel for sure. I'll give it that. Best sequel by far.
It's just so insane, man. And you go back, like I watched it not too long ago, and you're just like, wow, dude, like you don't see shit like this anymore, man.
Another one that I always recommend is Tales from the Crapper, which it's not so much for the movie itself, but the story behind that movie is bonkers. And it's the only time you legitimately see Lloyd Kaufman broken on camera. He chronicled that whole mess. He basically had $200,000 stolen from him. And check that out again if you're interested in movie making in general and when everything goes wrong that can go wrong.
And also even their like a lot of their stuff they just picked up, like Death by Temptation and like Surf Nazis Must Die. That wasn't them, was it? They picked that up.
Surf Nazis, I believe, was in-house. That one I thought was in-house.
Okay.
Be a question for Todd. Todd's the Troma guy.
And I'm pretty sure Black Roses was a Troma release originally, wasn't it?
No. I don't know if it was in-house though. It might have been.
Yeah, well, I think it was a pickup. Could be wrong. I just feel like I always saw that Troma bumper before the movie.
Yeah. I didn't think Black Roses was ever Troma, but Blood Hook, yeah. They're still putting stuff out too. And again, it's not usually expensive, so you're always rolling the dice. I'm not going to tell anybody that Troma didn't put out a lot of garbage because they did. But there's some diamonds in the rough.
Yeah, I just remember renting Chosen One.
Oh, the Carmen Electra superhero movie.
Yeah, and I rented another Troma movie too, and you would always pick up those just random like Chosen One, not their main things, just like little side movies.
Yeah.
Schoolgirl Screamers. Dead Dudes in the House.
That's a really good movie. Yeah, that's a really good movie from Vinegar Syndrome. Yeah, or House on
Tombstone Hill. Yeah,
which
it'll always be Dead Dudes in the House to me.
One of the funniest things, if you do get the Tales from the Crapper DVD, Wes Craven visits the set. So does James Gunn and Ted Raimi. The extras on that DVD are awesome. But I think Wes Craven at one point, somebody from the movie was like coming up and like talking to him. He's just chilling, visiting the set. And I think he kind of more or less gives the guy $100 for the movie to just kind of go away. It's pretty funny.
All right. Well, are we on Matt now? Your last one?
Yeah. I wasn't sure if you were going to pick that one. So I have my number one, barring that, which is the Hellraiser Quartet
Mm,
of Torment.
Nice.
This is the
That's
Arrow
beautiful.
UK exclusive with the
Yeah.
Chatterer. It is a beautiful set. You pull it out, you get the Chatterer there.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
Then you go down to the skeleton. That
Nice.
gotta fold out here.
Were you a fan of the new movie?
I saw it when it came out once, and I thought it was okay. But I think I got to go back and revisit it. I think it was like I didn't love it, I didn't hate it.
Mhm.
I was just kind of like, it's fine.
Well, I think that's the problem. It was good, but it's kind of the same with Evil Dead Rise. You expect a lot out of it, and it didn't exactly hit that. So even though
Right.
it's a good
Yes.
movie, it's not
mean,
a
it's
memorable
definitely-
Hellraiser movie, I don't think.
No, definitely the best one since probably Bloodlines, in my opinion.
Well,
But
Hellworld, you got to
Hellworld, yeah, Hellworld, I guess.
Hellworld's
You
a
gotta-
classic.
But also comes with this hardcover book, which is pretty cool.
Nice.
A bunch of stuff in here. Still haven't read this, but yeah, they knocked it out of the park with this. I mean, Arrow, I think this is the year of Arrow, to be completely honest. Everything they touched this year has just been phenomenal.
They rank pretty high, especially again cross genre. The Shaw Brothers sets are fantastic. Just everything they do.
Yeah. And then I have honorable mention. I thought Chris was going to pick this, but I got this artwork out. So
Yeah, I mean, the last kind of, or the first 2 or 3 were kind of goofs, like, and I could have thrown that in there easily.
Yeah.
Like I watched it the other night, man. It's entertaining. It's except for the like that slow part where she's like dancing with the
zombies at the pool.
Yeah,
Yeah, it just goes on, and the soundtrack just burns into your fucking eardrums. And you're like,
TerrorVision has been doing a good job as well.
they have.
putting out-
Yeah, I'm looking forward to Dante's Inferno. They're
Oh
putting
yeah.
out.
Yeah.
That got delayed because they got a new print of it or something, but that's gonna be cool. But everything, everything they've been doing is great.
They're grabbing a lot of 2000s direct to video stuff, a period that's kind of ignored. And I like Slashers is a good release. I don't know if you've ever watched that movie. It's been out twice, I think.
I've always heard a lot
Fangoria
about
put
it.
it out. You'll like Slashers. I'd say that's a sure thing for you.
Well, I would
Maurice
like them to get.
Devereaux.
I'd like them to get Drive Through. Drive Through deserves a Blu-ray. That's a movie that nobody talks about.
That's Lionsgate. I mean, you could have maybe a Hail Mary for a Vestron release for that. I'd like to see the Vestron stuff actually come out a little faster because there's a lot that they can put out.
Yeah, Ghoulies 3, dude. When the fuck are we getting Ghoulies 3? 976 Evil 2.
My understanding is but it's been a while. That's the thing. I had heard you're getting all of that stuff that was on that discount bin set that everybody went nuts for when it came out. But I'd like to see like May, Santa's Sleigh. I mean, there's more than you think when you.
Oh yeah, the Cube franchise deserves a good release.
Yeah,
and I wonder like if they would, because they usually do those value packs, which is fine, but I wonder if like for Cube or something, if they'd actually do like a box set, that would be cool.
That would be cool.
Hopefully,
TerrorVision put out the new one. I haven't seen it, but
it's better than certainly the third film. Cube's tough. I was like, once you start explaining it all, like it was just perfect. That first movie's perfect.
Yeah.
I don't need to know more. I don't need to dive into the aliens that are behind it and all of that stuff. Just perfect ending.
Where does Ghoulies 4 fall? That was like Cinetail Films. I'm not sure if Lionsgate got them or not.
That one, I think, is one of those limbo movies where a lot of people aren't quite sure. I try and always watch. I know Michael Keane sometimes has some insight into that. Of course, the TerraVision. I can't remember whose podcast they were on, or I think it was their own podcast where they did kind of drop a lot of hints for stuff that they might be able to get, might not be able to get.
Well, like Lionsgate has so much shit. Like,
yeah,
they absorbed so many studios back in the day
yeah,
that most things you can just kind of say like, well, Lionsgate probably has it, and they like. I do want them to start releasing it because they own a lot of shit. Artisan,
yeah.
if it was like Artisan back in the day, they own it. If it was like Republic Films, I'm pretty sure they own it. I think Hollywood Pictures, like so many studios.
Yeah, and then
They
there's
just,
still
like-
a lot of weird ones where there's issues for one reason or the other. So I just want to see them for the price point. Just start hammering this stuff out
Hell yeah.
faster.
I'll buy them all.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They all get into Walmart usually, so it's been a really good year for physical media.
Yeah.
Everybody's talking about it dying, and I'm like, well, I don't know. You're at least getting good stuff coming out. So.
You are. And it seems like more and more people are starting to get on that physical media train. They say it's dying out, but I see more interest in it.
I don't know what to believe. I just know that there's a lot of good shit coming out right now.
I mean, I don't think it's going anywhere anytime soon. And Vinegar Syndrome just keeps picking up these, bigger titles like From Beyond, Texas Chainsaw 2, Existenz. Like they're starting to kind of get out. And now they're not sub labels, but they're the VSL, the VSA,
Yeah,
all that kind of stuff. So they're starting to, they're moving away from their old like Grindhouse, that kind of stuff. And stuff's selling out quick too. So it's like people are still eating the stuff up.
you have to check their website because, like you said, like Blonde Death.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have thought like that would just go. And
No.
luckily, I got the standard edition because that's all that was left. But
even that's only down to like 200 copies or something now.
Yeah.
So it's, and I mean, I really did not think Blonde Death would be like sold out. I mean, how many people were chomping at the bit for Blonde Death,
I don't think there is many people that bought it. I wouldn't think there was that many people that knew that movie existed. So
right.
It's a SOV horror, which I know a lot of people criticize, but that's had a hell of a year on Blu-ray. Yeah, between Saturn's Core and the SRS has always been in that, but
yeah, and I guess Bleeding Skull now is doing their own thing because they were partnered with AGFA for all their previous releases, and I think this is just straight up Bleeding Skull. So I'm kind of excited to see what they're going to do.
Yeah.
I heard a rumor about Carts of Death, which would be cool. But I mean, that's a whole. I'm a sucker. I like shot on video horror.
I do too.
You know, so I'm all for it. There were rumors for a long time about Darkness. Arrow putting Darkness out. I mean, I'd buy that in a heartbeat. Actually, that wasn't shot on video. That was 16 millimeter. But those underground kind of
SOV adjacent.
Yeah.
There's some you think of, and it's like, well, no, it really wasn't. But
right,
like, but it's that wave.
Yeah,
some of the Tim Ritter stuff,
Yeah, the DIY kind of stuff.
Yeah, Darkness is really one of the bigger ones that has not come out on Blu-ray yet. So
yeah,
well, we can do the most important part now, because it's not really about how good your movie is or how many special features are on it. It's about how good the cover art is. So that's the finale here. I've got some like a gallery I can pull from. My first one is Murder Size.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Great cover art on
That
Murder
is a great
Squad.
cover art.
Yeah.
It's so classic. It's got like the silhouetted chainsaw, like with the blue light and fog coming off of it. It looks so awesome.
We were supposed to interview the filmmakers. I don't know if we still are doing that or not.
That would be cool. Maybe you get on those special features if they release a Blu-ray anyway.
Oh, they have one out. I have it on Blu-ray.
I thought it was like a Kickstarter deal. They actually released one?
Yeah, well, I bought it off eBay. But yeah, I think it I don't know if it's you'd have to double check. I don't know if it's like on Amazon yet or not. I don't know where that's at.
I'll go looking because it is one I want to own.
Yeah.
Y'all got one you want to throw out there?
Yeah, I'll throw one out. See if I can do this right.
There you go.
There we go. Yeah, I just thought this was pretty cool. I mean, this scene in the movie, I don't know if you guys I'm sure you guys have seen it with the eyeball. I hate eyeball stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I just thought it was a cool ass cover.
Fulci directed a Saw movie.
Oh yeah, seriously.
It's a perfect cover art because it feels like those original cover arts.
Yeah.
But it also like because I think they had like teeth hanging from a wire and stuff for the but like this is an actual like trap you're gonna potentially see in the movie, like the first one was.
That's what I liked about it, is it was actually something that's like this is gonna be in the movie. And it's, obviously the X, like you said, with the teeth for 2 and 3, or I think 1 was just a foot, and then 2, 3, I think were teeth, and so on. So yeah, I don't know. I love it. I think it's gets to the point, and it's simple, and you know what you're gonna get into. So.
All right. What about you, Dan? You got one?
Triple Xmas does have some cool art as well.
Is it nudie?
It might be, and I would be careful Googling anything Triple X, but
hold on.
It's funny when it comes to cover art, a lot of the lower budget stuff does it best.
Yes.
Yeah, like SRS always has great cover art, irregardless of the quality of the movie.
Yeah, and Wild Eye too.
Yeah, Visual Vengeance, it just in general, I will put them over. Their slip covers always look cool. I think everybody's got their top on there.
Yeah.
That definitely draws you in. A lot of pretty ladies and the neon Christmas tree in the background. If you like Murder Size, I think you'll enjoy it. A lot more nudity in this, though.
I'm going to have to give it another chance. I just was like, man, I think I was tired, and I was like, I can't do this. Like, the pacing is kind of odd, and it felt like it was dragging a little bit to me. But I'll give it another chance. All right. Another one is a cheat, kind of. It's not a new movie release. Hold on. I'll be right back. I'm going to go grab it. I've got 2 cheats on here. Technically, they're not new movies, but they're new cover arts. So I count it, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Abomination.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that is a good
Specifically, though, I mean, this is dope, too. But I really like this one.
Yeah, that's cool.
All right. What's my next one? Let me pull this one up if I can find it. Scare Package 2, Rad Chad's Revenge. Yeah, this is
hell yeah.
Not a great movie, but man, look at that cover art.
Yeah, that's cool as hell.
It's like so much like House.
Yeah, that's
and you got the Creep Show lighting on there.
Scare Package 2 VHS and the VCR.
Good stuff, man.
That's cool.
I wanted that movie to be better.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like Dan was saying, all those the cooler the art is, a lot of times the worse the movie is.
Well, man, I want to go back and watch it. There was that one segment I liked. That was the Reanimator with the little kids. I liked that one. But have you seen it?
No.
Yeah, it's not hitting that mark that the first one did.
Yeah, I didn't even. It kind of slipped under my radar, to be honest. But
I was excited about it, but yeah, by the time it came out, I think it took a while to finally come out. When it did, I was like, "Oh yeah, I forgot completely that was even a thing that was still happening."
Well, speaking of not great, well, actually, this was okay. But I got one here too.
There we go.
Slaughterhouse.
Oh, I like that movie a lot.
I
That
liked
was-
it. It wasn't great, I thought, but I thought it was fun.
I haven't seen it, but I really want to.
Yeah.
It's on
I-
Hulu, right?
I saw it with the guys when we were in LA, and yeah, it's fun.
It
I
is.
laughed quite a bit through that one.
Yeah, I saw it in theaters, so it might be on Hulu. It probably is on Hulu. It's campy, and I felt like sometimes it blurred the line between being campy and just being bad. But I'm also not a big camp guy, so my girlfriend, I went with her, and she loved it, but she likes
Yeah.
that camp stuff. But I still thought it was a good movie. I had fun with it. I still recommend people see it. But yeah, I just love that poster art. with
Yeah,
the sloth.
it's on my list. If you tell me that there's a slasher movie with a sloth running around a sorority house, I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah, and I think it's an actual puppet too, which
It
is
is.
cool. Yeah,
That's important to me too.
yeah, and it's a
Yeah.
good looking puppet. So, but yeah, I love that
It-
poster art.
It takes a selfie like with one of its
Yeah.
victims, which there's some moments that were
Yeah.
pretty funny.
Click clacking away on the keyboard.
I'll drop my next one. It is VHS 85.
Oh, it's a
That
good
is
pick.
cool.
Yeah.
They nailed it with this one, man. Like it's that grid, 80s grid. Like
Yeah, that synthwave kind of.
yeah.
Makes me think of Kroll.
Tron, like all those kind of
Like
like it's just perfect.
it's like escalators going up or something.
And good movie too.
Yeah,
I think better than last year's, in my opinion.
Have they announced like what the next one's gonna be year wise, or I don't know if maybe they haven't.
I don't think so.
I know there have been rumors I've heard a few times that they might go against gimmick and go further back to where technically the VHS thing doesn't work.
Well, we were joking about that, like 8mm or something like
Yeah.
that.
They could probably do it, or they just
Super
have to get away from like, okay, like we're just gonna keep making them in the 80s and 90s, and the gimmick won't be very different.
Well,
but
I mean, they have so many years to play with, though,
yeah,
that they don't have to if they don't want to. So if they want to, I mean, that's a bold choice. They need to really make sure it's worth it. They don't need to
Yeah.
just do it to do it, you know? Yeah, that's my love for cover art comes from that. I used to stare at horror cover arts for hours.
Oh yeah, that one did. Yeah, the New Year's slasher.
We'll look it
right?
up.
Not a lot of the bigger mainstream movies are hitting me too hard with cover art. I mean, there's solid cover art, I guess, but nothing's like blowing me away.
Yeah. Hell House Origins had the worst cover art. I thought I hated that. I was like, this looks like some
little
asylum
generic,
shit.
yeah.
There's Time's Up. It's pretty
Mm,
good.
That's cool.
I thought there was a different one too, though. I guess not. Well, my next one is another cheat because it's not a new movie technically, but it is new cover art, and it's coming out of the Empire set.
Mm.
This fucking cover art right here for Arena is so insane. I'm gonna put that poster up. That is so beautiful.
Hard to beat the original, but I agree that is good. Good cover
Yeah, I
art.
love that.
There is video evidence in my like unboxing or whatever of like I'm like going through the thing and then I get to this cover art and I'm just sitting there like,
Fanboy.
oh my god, whoa! Like for like 5 minutes looking at the
That's
poster
awesome.
and shit. It's like perfect, like 80s throwback. Like it looks like a Canon movie that would have been on the show.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's beautiful. Demeter.
Oh yeah, yeah. Last Voyage of the Demeter.
Mhm.
There's not a lot that like blows me away. I mean, it all kind of bleeds together.
Yeah, I mean, new cover art isn't the same as back in the day at all.
It's kind of wild with the, Stranger Things and everything that they haven't done more retro 80s type cover art to catch people's eyes.
Yeah.
In the mainstream. I mean, low budget stuff does it, but
Yeah, that cover I like. I was thinking of there's like another one from him from behind, but I like that one better. So this I haven't seen, but I heard it's not very good. But I love this cover art. Final Summer.
Final Summer. It is good cover art.
It's very like, Friday the 13th kind of
Yeah.
vibe. It looks like something I would want to watch, but I didn't hear too many good things about it.
It's not very good if it's what I'm remembering.
Yeah.
It's also like like certain movies like The Burning back then in the early 80s, they were like portrait paintings.
Mm-hmm.
That has this going on too. I like that too.
Yeah, I like how you get the creases here, like it was a one sheet or something.
Very nice.
Cool.
I've never even heard of that one.
Yeah, it came up on like Letterboxd or something. I thought the cover art was what caught my eye. I think I just spoiled my next one. So I'll just do that too. Grandma.
Oh, same thing. It's very early 80s.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This I did not like. I did see this one. I actually have VHS here.
Too gory for the silver screen.
Oh, nice.
So this actually has Michelle Bauer in it too for like 10 seconds.
Oh, dang.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just love that cover art with the bloody grandma mask. So
yeah,
it wasn't great.
I love stuff like that too. I also like when there's like an object with a weapon in it, but that's like an actual picture.
Yeah,
like Happy Death Day, I think had the kebab scene.
Yeah,
it was just a picture of it. And April Fool's Day, where she's got the guillotine or the noose on her ponytail.
Yep. Like I said, the better the cover art, the worse the movie. So don't necessarily recommend it, but I don't know, you might get something out of it.
Well, there we go. I mean, that was kind of it. Unless anybody's got any others they want to throw out there.
We need to bring back the gimmick of releases that talk to you, like the old school Frankenhooker.
I mean, man, that's definitely something that if it was the right movie and the right like gimmicky thing, like you would have to buy it. Everybody would have to buy it, like no matter how much it costs.
It could certainly get people to buy a really shitty movie.
Yeah, sure. And that's the fear. But also, like, imagine like a really cool one, like I don't know, Brain Damage, and it was like Elmer or something that talked, like something like that would be really cool.
You'd get it once in a while.
Case. I don't know why I keep going to Henenlotter movies, but
even more lenticular stuff in general. I mean, you remember the old school like Uncle Sam, Jack Frost, Bleeders. Bleeders, the Rutger Hauer movie that had like the blood ooze thing.
All right, I'm gonna pull these two covers up. Why does every image I pull up, it's like tiny? Barbarian, which El Chewy Gringo brought up. It's cool. It's minimalist. I like minimalism.
It's nice if you ever get it signed too. Sometimes I like that open space. I have a Crow poster that's like signed by everybody, and aside from the obvious, and it's just got that black that you can go straight down.
Yeah,
looks really good signed.
And plus that bootleg you can get of Barbarian that comes in the red case.
Yeah,
that's like a nice touch that adds to the whole aesthetic of the cover.
I thought there might have been a breakdown and that might have been put out, and
then we got this one, which is Onyx the Fortuitous and the Talisman of Souls.
Oh yeah, obviously we talked about that. Yeah, I think that comes to Blu-ray. I think it might be this week.
I need to see that so bad, man. It needs to be the next movie I watch. I need to make it the next movie I watch because I really wanted to see it because I liked I mean, I was fooled when I first saw the Arby's guy video. I was holding out hope like that this dude is real and he exists somewhere. And like, you know, I saw like the very next one, I was like, oh, it's a gimmick. But for a second there, I thought the Arby's guy was real.
Yeah.
And so I, you know, when I found out he was making a movie, I was pretty stoked. I think it looks like a Tenacious D kind of comedy.
He's popular. At my screening, there were a couple people that showed up. I don't know if they were supposed to be him exactly, but they were in like Dungeons and Dragons type garb. It was pretty funny to see that.
All right. Well, guys, I'm going to call it because we've been going for 3.5 hours.
Damn.
But
there you go.
Was this enjoyable? Like, let me know if y'all like this kind of thing. I will do the thing where it's like, what do you got going on? So I'll do that now. Dan, you wanting to plug anything or?
I know we've got, of course, our best and worst of 2023 show. We have one more cram show. We try to be really thorough, so ours usually happens mid-January. We do try and hit those things that we missed. So we're one of the more thorough channels as far as watching movies. So we have that for the wrestling fans. I think we have a Squared Circle Society coming soon. Sometime this week. And what else? We have some more After Dark content dropping. We're still doing that Black Emmanuel set, so you'll have more videos coming from that. And the Femme Fatales Patreon stuff, which has been a lot of fun. So check all that out.
Nice.
Flesh Wound features for you newbies.
Word. What about you, Matt?
I'm working on a video right now for my YouTube channel for a unboxing of Lunch Meat sends out these, if you're a Patreon subscriber, these VHS tapes every month with mystery contents on them. So I got my December tape, so I figured I'd open it up and pop it in my TV back there and maybe do a little video on that.
Nice.
I'm even newer than Chris. I got like no idea what I'm doing. So I'm just winging it too.
You'll get there.
Nah, you're doing fine, man.
I appreciate it.
And you're like, I'm a fan of your shit, dude. Like those like atmospheric like things you were doing where you're showing like really weird like foreign claymation and like propaganda ads, and it feels like you're watching like a dystopian like broadcast.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Oh,
man.
Thanks, man. I want to do more of those. I tried doing it a couple weeks ago and it kept getting taken down. So for audio. So I think I'm gonna, because I was live streaming them. So I think I'm gonna record them and then do it as a premiere or something, because I can deal with the copyright flag, but I can't deal with the stream getting taken down. I'm gonna work on doing more of those, but I appreciate it. Cool. But yeah, Dream Emulator on YouTube and Dream Emulator on Instagram. So
cool. All right, well, I guess we'll get out of here then. But thanks for watching, everybody. Let me pull up my little thing here. All right, later.